Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday, January 30th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And a quick look at our daily chart. You can see we had a down day today. It was mostly sideways, but it did close, break out, and make a measured move down before the day was over. But for the most of the part, it wasn't it wasn't a great trading day because the market was just in such a tight range the whole day without much movement. So I noticed we did turn down, continue to turn down off this upper side. So maybe this channel is right here. We'll just have to see. It could be the other side of this channel could be higher. But right now it looks like it's right here. But we've thought that before and we were wrong. So that's the only thing about the daily chart. It moves at a snail's pace. Uh, you can get multiple bars in 15 minutes. You only get one daily bar every day. So it takes a little while. It's a little bit more difficult to read than it is on a shorter time frame. I am still suffering a little bit from my allergies here, so you'll have to bear with me. I may have to pause this thing occasionally, and um, hopefully you won't notice it on your end, but just bear with me. It usually lasts a couple of days, and then I'll be back to normal, I hope. But there it is on the daily chart. Let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart, take a look at that. And again, there's not many trades today, so it won't take long to get through today's trade. And you can see it here. The main width of the chart was only like 12 points, something like that. And most of the time we were just chopping around in the middle. We finally started moving from top to bottom late morning, and so we got a few setups after that, but they're just most of the down movement came after the close. So as you can see, there's not many trades here, so this is not going to take long at all. 7 o'clock came right in here as we're coming down. I think it was right in here. Yeah, right along here. 7 o'clock hit, and we're just in this the deep drop, and you'd want to wait on a higher low here, especially since there's no close outside that down channel right there, and it just goes sideways, so you can't enter that, but it does break out and pull back and give you a higher low here with a nice signal bar. It's not a perfect setup, but I mean, we've got obvious support right here, and it looks like it, I mean, it looks like there's not much uh, movement here, and like we're going to be in a range. So you may take that trade. I marked it green. Then we just kind of chopped on up to the highs. And you got a triple test. If this bar hadn't been so big, you could have traded this on an engulfing bar. But the news came in here. This whole big blue square was news. So, of course, I didn't mark anything in there. You had to be flat before that. So, really, even though there was a setup there, you don't want to be trading that. Just stay out of it during this. We had these two 9 o'clock high volatility news items. You can see it did affect the market, but we were right back chopping sideways again. But it was probably safe to trade right in here. And notice we make a 1, 2, 3 triple top with a nice bearish bar. I like going short right there. And then you make 2 legs down. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's 2 legs down here. And you get a second entry long right here, and it's a triple test across here as well, with a nice signal bar way away from the EMA. So I like that one. That was probably the best setup. This was not a bad setup here. These two we had 2 back-to-back pretty good setups, and then we just had to sit and wait because there's just not much going here. And you can see we're just chopping around in here. There's no way to know what the market's doing here. Just stay out of this stuff. You're better off. If you drug this on across, you can see we did bounce a few more times. And you might argue that's a triple test, but you got to go long right into that midline. And you see how it struggled to get through there. There is a failure right here, but this is not where you look for a failure. So you just have to just sit and watch this stuff. Don't try to force trades in this. And we do get a triple test up here after a break, but the signal bar is not very good. Lower high here, but its prices have moved too far and it looks a little congested. This is a possibility. You might argue for that to be green. But it's just a first entry, and prices have really moved a long way to consider that as a lower high. But it's a nice setup as far as the signal bar and right off the key entry point, confirming it and all that. So maybe you take that trade. It's risky. Same thing here. You come down here and it bounces at the same place. Um, I don't think you can go long here yet because we're still in this channel. And then it breaks out here. Um, this is a higher low, way away from the EMA. After another bounce off the lows. We don't have a close and a new low outside this channel though, and that was a pretty strong sell-off. So for that reason, again, it's a little bit risky. I marked it green. The odds are we're probably coming back to the EMA after bouncing off these lows here, the overnight lows. But you'd be better off to get another test of that before you went long, and that comes over here. So notice the break, new high, and then you run down, and if you drew a little tight channel here, you'd get a break, a new low, and now you got a 1, 2, 3 triple test across there, and a second entry long. This is a new swing high. So first entry, when it breaks above this green bar, it's a second entry long. I like that one, and that's a pretty good move. I don't know that you get a runner out on it or anything, but it's an easy scalp. Then we're right back in the middle, just kind of chopping around. We did get 2 measured legs back here with 2 legs in the middle. So that makes this an interesting high or low here that you might want to take, but it's right into that midline. And, you just always have to be careful and see there's only 1 point there. So there's just not really enough room. And so for that reason, I didn't mark it. It's very tempting, but it's just risky. And I didn't even feel comfortable marking it green. And then again, you get a little reversal here, failure to the downside, but it's not really where you're looking for one. It would have worked. Then you get your break, a couple of swings up to a new high. This was a second entry long right here. It broke lower and then turned up and went out all in one bar. So you could have traded that one. Again, I mean, we're almost to the other side of the range where we've been turning down, so it gets risky. But there is enough room on that one. I would probably enter this on the engulfing bar because there's a good chance when it broke lower and immediately turned up that it was going to go high. But I'll give it a green, but you got to be careful with these. You don't want to press trades on a day like this because you can get yourself in serious trouble. But notice it comes back down. And notice this was the close from yesterday. Prices didn't veer far from that all day until we'd trade below it and come back, and trade above it and come back, and eventually we broke lower here and went on down. So this seemed to be kind of the midline almost, this close, or the magnet that was pulling prices back and forth all day, the close from yesterday. But anyway, we came back, we bounced off that, made a higher low, another higher low, and ran up. And this closed just inside the resistance. So even though we made a higher high, you can't. I won't make that red for that reason because it could push up one more time. However, it is a first entry, second entry, and it did close inside the range, and it is a very bearish bar. So I marked it green. It's late in the day too, and you don't want to make a mistake that late in the day. So it is a little risky. But there just wasn't much to choose from today. So if you had a hard time finding a trade today, that's because there weren't many trades. It's just hard to trade this stuff. You'll get chopped to pieces in this stuff. And sometimes on a day like this, it's almost, you might be better off to close up and go spend the day with your family, your kids, go play golf, go fishing, hunting, whatever you like to do. These are the kind of days that sometimes it just pays off to close up shop and go home because there's no real direction here. And it's hard to know what prices don't have any direction whatsoever in here. So it's hard to know what prices are doing. Eventually we do get that triple test across here. So, and that turns out to be a nice trade, but then the next two are closing at different places and turning down at lower highs and different highs. And so it's just really hard to trade this. So if you struggled today, don't force trades on a day like this. I talked about it in the mid-morning report, not to get, because you'll get chopped to pieces. You'll go short and say, oh no, I should have went long. and flip to the long side, and then it's going short again, and you just flip back and forth, and you end up with 4 or 5 losers in a row, and it's just not worth doing that. But that's what most traders will do. They'll just flip back and forth, thinking that, well, if I wasn't right the first time, I'll be right this time, and you end up being wrong 3 or 4 times in a row because prices aren't going anywhere. And you can see that here. Prices are just not going anywhere. And so there's no way to know what prices are doing in here. The best chart reader will struggle with this because there's no way to know what prices are doing. Other than this triple test, there's no setups we trade or anything like that. So just stay out of that stuff. This triple test right here as well. But anyway, there it is today. I'm not going to hang on. I'm going to wrap it up and get out of here. I've had a long couple of days trying to catch up. I'm pretty much getting close to caught up. So by tomorrow, I should be back to normal. Hopefully, I'm feeling a little better too. I'm just not 100% right now after coming back from my trip. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.